What up, what up, what up? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, want to welcome you to another edition of the Charles Coleman podcast. Y'all already know what it is. We about to get right into it. Today, I'm joined by two of my favorites. We are running the Triangle Office, a.k.a. the Bison Beatdown. I got my girl, Hillary Younger, in the building, as well as the DJ from the 718 and Beyond, DJ CEO, is also joining me. Before we get started, I got to give a big shout out. We wearing some Bison gear real quick. I got to give a big shout out to my man, Dwayne Thomas from Up Top and Uptown and Up Top Apparel, who sent me this beautiful Bison hoodie. I love the sponsored gifts. So this right here is like, it's not a one of one, but check out uptopapparel.com. They got everything you need up top, because that's when we was at school. You said, oh yeah, we from up top. And my man Dwayne showed love, so thank you for that. We've got some celebrations before we get started. I called Hillary on the phone. I don't know if you know the CEO.
I am a horrible sister. I really am, and I know you really hate me right now, but don't, because I genuinely and sincerely apologize publicly.
Listen, congratulations on order. My oldest niece.
Yes,
my oldest niece, Haley, is accepted to our university, Hillary's daughter. We are so proud of her. She's about to be a Bison. And what was dope about it was, if you watched the video and you seen it, like, she really understood the magnitude of it. She was in tears. Mm-hmm. Like, in tears when she got the acceptance letter, which is, like, amazing. Which brings me to another story that I didn't send it to y'all. And we can talk about it really, really quickly. Howard had 38,000 applicants this year. 38,000. I want to be very clear about it. 38,000. There are not 38,000 students who go to Howard, let alone applicants. And I want to get y'all's reaction to it, because I think this is a function of the Supreme Court's recent decision outlawing race-based admissions in other places. I think that has an impact. I think number one, this is just a large generation. Let me just start there. Numerically speaking, this is a large generation. So there's more of them that are going to college. So that's like a thing. You have this Supreme Court decision, this anti-DEI, anti-woke things that are making it, less inviting or less open to Black students attending PWIs. But then I also think there's this other element of, like, people can see. Like, you can, like, if you're a young person, forget the DEI argument or anything like that. You got Instagram and all of the things where it's like, I could look at that and that shit don't look appealing to me. That doesn't look inviting to me. It doesn't seem like a place I would want to be or where I would be welcome. But at the same time, my concern is that it's putting a lot of pressure on HBCUs, because we cannot accommodate that at that level. CEO, your thoughts? Hillary, I think we lost you on the camera. I don't know where you went.
Yeah. Might have pushed a button or something.
Or she might have got a phone call or something crazy.
I think it's actually 38,000. That is a lot. That is a lot.
Crazy.
And like you said, it is putting pressure on the university, not just Howard, but all HBCUs, because I'm sure there's been an uptick in applications across the board for HBCUs. When you said it, prior to that, I didn't think about it. Yes, this whole, like, these cutbacks, these pushbacks against DEI, and all the things that were in place to kind of level the playing field for opportunities for us has gone. But the truth of the matter is, there is no better opportunity than to be at HBCU. I don't care what you say. There's no better opportunity than to be at HBCU. And also, what I'm noticing, I don't know if it's with the young people, because I'm not really having a ton of conversations with them, but Black people in general, they're just tired of being around white folks. Like, I be in places, like, as a DJ, and, like, friends, they'll see I'm somewhere, they'll come, and then, like, say it's a room and it's, like, predominantly white. They was like, I want to be here. Like, I just don't want to be around them. Like, that's
the part.
That is it. They don't want to be around them. And I mean,
period. I think this generation, not to cut you off, CEO, but you're absolutely right. This generation of young people are far more willing to acknowledge, well, they're far less willing to be uncomfortable than we were. They're not open to being uncomfortable. We thought that it was necessary. We thought it was par
Rite
for
of
the
passage
course.
type
You know what I'm
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
saying? Absolutely. We thought it was par for the course, but they're like, it just doesn't have to be like
Uh-huh.
that. And who would want to go grow up? But they just, like you said, CEO, they just really don't want to be in a space where they cannot be comfortable and feel like they can be themselves and that can actually be received and they
Hmm.
get love for it. I mean, and then you're not under a microscope or it's not a study or someone is not trying to like looking at
Yeah.
you like
You're not an object.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
exactly,
fishbowl.
right.
Yeah.
Or you're a token or whatever it is. Like they just don't. They're not into that anymore.
And
We
nobody's questioning why you're here.
There you go.
we've had HBCU conversations before. I do want to ask because here's the truth. The truth is, you know, every young black scholar who wants to go to HBCU is not going to have that opportunity. And so, especially as spaces become less and less and less inviting for us, what do we say in terms of how we support the kids who can't get into those schools because you know the
They got the
opportunities aren't
space.
there. They don't got the space. And I'm not just talking about Howard. I'm literally talking. I mean, because think about it, right? Like if 38,000 students applied to Howard, how many applied to Spelman? How many applied to Morehouse? How
Hmm.
many applied to FAM and
Right.
A&T? Right?
Right.
Like there simply isn't space.
Yeah.
So how do we support those kids from a community space, whether they end up going to state schools or other PWI, private PWIs or whatever. Like, what does that look like? I know it's a tougher question, but like, what does that look like?
It is tough to answer because if they're not in those, like, we have to, like, this kind of goes back to just the foundation and kind of being present within the community, like the community in which you live, right? Because we're not going to be present in these schools, right? I don't know many of us who are walking onto PWI campuses that are in our neighborhoods and cities and looking to like mentor or whatever, right? So I think what the cool thing is about the being social media and things like that, it's easier to find them because there's platforms, there's talking spaces for this, and I think if we are serious about it, we show up and we just be present for whatever it is that they need. It's not an easy answer, but that's one of the easiest things to do is just find a space that exists for these people, because they're out there, and then just show up.
Yeah.
So I will say this because I have had my own PWI experience as well as, my husband in law school. They have affinity groups. I mean, they create all of those types of spaces.
Hmm.
It is a real thing. And people do
What do
show.
you say? Yeah, send them to the ERG.
Yeah, no, literally, they have affinity groups. And it was the weirdest thing for me that this is a space where they go. And a lot of it is 100% just about emotional, like having an emotional outlet and doing a lot of
Hmm.
griping back. And I'll say that's back, 20 years ago, but I don't know what they do now. But it's a weird thing to walk into those spaces and mentor because the focus is solely on, kind of like it's a superficial focus. Like it's not focused on cultural development in any way. It's not
Mhm.
focused on deepening an understanding for self. It's really just focused on like career development and how to integrate you into society better, how to give you coping mechanisms,
How to simulate even
how to
more?
assimilate even
Yeah,
Like,
more, and how to
basically.
give you coping
Yeah.
mechanisms while you're here. And that's just always going to be the weirdest thing. It's hard to be
that's
immersed.
wild.
It's hard to
Yeah.
be immersed in those environments because, I mean, we all know we've all worked in those spaces and still, And so if you're not strong and you don't have that, I don't give a fuck in you, like you have to have, it
Hmm.
eats you alive. That's why we thrive. That's why I'll say Howard specifically. I think that's why we thrive because we get fortified differently in the spaces
Yeah,
that
it's a
we're
different
in.
type of fire.
Yeah.
Uh, moving on, you and this was a perfect segue. You talked about being in the workplace and such. All three of us at different points have experienced or experimented to different degrees with the notion of entrepreneurship, and part of that is because of the resilience that is in all of us in terms of like not wanting to be in corporate environments. I sent you guys a late addition to the rundown. Google recently has dismissed several engineers, like almost at this point, like 3 dozen. I think the total is like a little bit over 3 dozen engineers and other employees who have been outspoken primarily around the Hamas Israeli war and other things going on in Gaza. And the CEO has been adamant that, like, yo, this is not the workplace is not the place for that.
Mm-hmm.
Reactions. I mean, and the reason why I bring up us being entrepreneurs is like when you work for yourself, you say what you want. When you work for somebody else, this becomes an issue. Someone can tell you or try to tell you what you can say, where you can say it, when you can say it, and how much you can say of it. Your reactions to it, CEO.
Well, a couple of things. I am a firm believer that like whoever's workplace it is, they set the rules, whether you like it or not. That's their workplace. And I am of somebody who agrees. Like I've never really been in a corporate space. I've worked at BT and a couple other spots prior to going full time as a DJ, but I'm not trying to get in a conversation with nobody about politics, religion, and nothing at work. I'm here to do my job and get out of here because I'm not. I don't want to get like there's some people are so different, and then there's also so many people who are just so ignorant. Like it would be different if like we're talking about people who respect other people's points of views, and we can have a cordial conversation. But I mean, if social media shows you anything, that does not exist. So like I don't think they should be fired. I think he's wild off the rip with that. Like he's in the wrong for that. But I do agree. Like nah, fam, I'm not having this conversation with you at work.
I mean, I think so. Where I stand on it is at the end of the day, right? First of all, the notion of there are a couple of things. I don't really want to get into this specific issue because the larger principle is really what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there are politics in everything. Like everything is political, right?
Yeah.
So like the values of our organization are political in nature. You want to play politics or make values of the organization that are politically correct, that align with whatever you think are appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that the notion of like the use of the term political is real convenient because people throw that out when it's something that they don't want to talk about. Oh, really? At the end of the day, let's keep it 100. When they think that it's going to affect their bottom line, that's really what it is.
Right.
All right. Like let's really like rip the lid off and talk about it. When you worry about the fact that the attention that comes from people opening their mouth, because at the end of the day, like these people are not overly concerned with you. You looked at a CEO from a standpoint of like your comfort as an employee, as someone who's working. They don't really give a damn about that. They're not really making decisions because, oh, well, this is making other people in the workplace uncomfortable. That's a great thing to say, but there's a lot of shit that go on in the workplace that you ain't really like, stop that behavior. What it really is you are worried that if this is an environment where people can express certain sentiments, that it may impact how publicly somebody who gives you a lot of money decides how much money they're going to keep giving you. Mm-hmm. So let's just really be honest about, and don't get me wrong, as a business owner who is in the business of making profits, I understand that consideration. I'm not saying that I don't get it. I'm not saying like, how could you make a decision that way? I completely understand. I will say though, like, I don't really believe that you can extract politics from the workplace. And in this example, it ain't even politics to me. It's like straight up humanity, but that's a whole nother conversation. Hillary?
It's a slippery slope. for me, because this is how people, make their livelihoods, and we already know that this is America. And because we are in this culturally diverse place, there's no way that you're going to say something and not offend someone. If you are if you are what, there's someone here. There's, like, just like a Ukraine and Russia. You may work in the workspace. I know Russians and Ukrainians. And so how would I take sides in a moment at work and not offend someone? So now it's really just creating a lot of like distraction in terms of, being able to work in this environment. On top of that, once you put it out there, people are moving how they want to move. And like I said, this is your livelihood, and you don't want to jeopardize that by, making some point about, oh, Israel I'm team Israel. I'm team, whatever. It's like, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
dog. You know what I'm saying? Because you're really
Yeah.
not going to do nothing at the end of the day about it. I was telling,
Nope.
I was at dinner with a lady who is Ukrainian, and she's from the Ukraine, still has family in the Ukraine. And this is what made me realize that I don't have a dog in the fight. And I'm not saying humanity is humanity, and it always has been. I mean, when we think about it, everybody has suffered. So I'm not all lives mattering it, but this woman told me this. I asked her, I said, hey, do you have any family over there right now? She said, yes. I was like, oh, wow. So how is that going? Now, we're in the middle of a crisis. She turns to me and she said, I'm just trying to figure out how I can help. So this woman is Ukrainian, has cousins and shit over there. And she's still processing how she
Yeah.
can figure out how she
Yeah.
can help. Why
So whatever it
the
is you
heck?
think you're doing,
Yeah.
Why
You
am
don't
I
you don't know
jumping up?
nothing.
Why would I
yeah.
jump up? Come on, to get beat down. Stop. No, it's not gonna happen for me.
I think that the notion of I do think now here's the thing that I'll
But I'm
say.
also sorry for your loss. I'm sorry. Let me say that, because people be trying to act like you know what I'm saying, you won't. No, I'm sorry. It's just terrible. It's terrible.
CEO,
Mhm.
from the standpoint of what you said in terms of employees being comfortable, I do understand and respect that. And to whatever extent those decisions are made with that in mind, or that is a factor, I do respect it and I think it's legitimate. I just don't think that at the end of the day, like, that's driving policy change. But we're gonna move on. But
Okay.
it's just it,
I see what you're saying. It ain't about comfort. It's just I don't got time for the bullshit. Like I'm not trying to get in a
okay.
conversation with you
Okay. Yeah,
over
I don't have
something.
time for it,
Yeah.
right? And then I guess, and then the other side to it, the Hillary slippery slope thing, it's like, if every day there's a new cause, right? Like, then tomorrow it's like, oh, we on a hunger strike for the whales,
Yeah.
or we are
Like,
protest to stop the
it's
drilling.
gonna
You know what I'm saying?
always
Like,
be
it's
something.
There's
a
always gonna be
peace
something.
pipeline. It's something every day. So, all right.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know if y'all heard, but the rap game is in a civil war right now. And it's not just the rap game, it's everybody. People have been talking about the age of Aquarius. I think,
Yes.
quite frankly, um, P. Diddy was about to buy NBC and distraction to everything going on with him. Listen, and I blame Cat Williams for setting it off. This age of Aquarius has been
Hey,
blowing people's mind. People heard about it. It is coming to pass. I feel like the rap game is on an entire like self-correcting reset. Like, it's almost people in the culture like, you don't belong here, and we're
mhm.
gonna check you about it. So what I'm gonna do, and it's not just the rap game. I sent y'all a bunch of different ones that like I really wanted to get at. And I want to sort of just go back and forth. I'm gonna ask y'all about different ones and just get your thoughts. Hillary, I'm gonna start with you. Non-rap, but Texas. Steven Jackson got at Jason Whitlock real bad, and he got at him because he said that basically the only reason why Steven Jackson was rooting for Dawn Staley was because she was black, and basically trying to put Dawn Staley against Caitlin Clark as if you can't be fans of both. And
Mhm.
Steven Jackson bust his ass all the way back to Port St. Lucie. So like, yo, what are your thoughts? Like, give me your
So
reaction.
my immediate reaction is one that is very succinct and very, very trivial. I'm like, it's a Ray. Like, so what? I'm rooting for everybody black. If that is the reason, so I mean, so what? Why can't he root for her because she's black? Like, what? Why not? But also, to trivialize someone's fandom to saying, oh, the only reason you like that person is because they're black. I mean, clearly he knows nothing about Dawn Staley. And he knows nothing about the era of basketball that she comes from. It was long overdue. And even though she got them this way, hey, kudos to you, Dawn Staley, because she deserved that. Those women were cold. They came back to the NBA when they created the WNBA. Do they know that those women were like 77 years old? Like playing basketball? They were college students. Those were mothers, aunties,
Yeah,
like dunking and dribbling and running on knees that were almost about to give out. So what's his name? What's Whitlock? Jason Whitlock,
yeah.
baby. Proverbial middle fingers to you all the way around. I give a shit.
Uh,
Mhm.
CEO. I'm gonna save the other juicy ones. Also not rap related yet.
Mhm.
Still warming up. Russ Parr, who we're all familiar with as a DJ in the DMV. You know what I'm saying?
He
And
threw me an ice
syndicated.
cream social in Texas. He was in Dallas first. Him
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Al,
He's like syndicated. Russ Parr is syndicated.
1,000 years old too.
Russ,
1,000.
yeah, has been getting at Stephen A. Smith pretty heavily. He ain't the only one. Stephen A. has been catching it about his comments where he basically has said that when black people see Donald Trump in the system being prosecuted in a way that we perceive to be unfair, we relate to him. And Russ
What?
Parr,
Wait, I missed it.
oh, y'all didn't see this? Oh yeah,
No.
nah, Stephen A. went on Sean Hannity and basically said that when black people
Hey, Stephen A. was on Fox News.
oh yeah. Stephen A. has been on Fox News.
Man, these journalism streets are trash.
He
Okay.
goes on Sean Hannity. That's his best friend.
Bro.
And he says basically when black people see Donald Trump being persecuted and prosecuted and
No,
being
we're numb. We're
No, we
numb.
don't.
I
No,
feel
we don't.
nothing.
we
No, we
I
don't.
feel
relate
nothing.
because
No.
because just like we relate to a whole bunch of other people based off of the shared notion of we can identify from an empathetic place around suffering.
No, 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 no,
I don't
no,
feel anything.
no. First of all, black people, what we've experienced in America and the world in general, but specifically America, because this is where we live, is nothing compared. I mean, it's far more greater than what Donald Trump is a criminal before even being judged,
Period.
a criminal, and he is being
Really
held
simple.
up. He's being charged because he's a criminal. Black people being black, America has decided was criminal, and we got charged for just being black. These are not the two same things. He's
No.
earned these cases, and in spite of us being gracious, loving, excellent providers, builders, supporters of everybody in the world, we still get traded. Yo, fam, we need to have a whole podcast just on how good American propaganda is, and then you have niggas like Stephen A. who show up and be like, "Yeah, you know what?"
And Jason Whitlock.
And then Jason Whitlock. It's like, which the irony is, he was just getting at Jason Whitlock for some of the same like ridiculous comments.
Yeah, he was.
But yeah, nah, bro. Steve, I mean, I never was a big fan of Stephen A. There's some, I think he's a character.
Now he's
And
the one
he
with
might
the
not
far
be
back
taken
hairline,
seriously.
right?
You said what?
He's the one on ESPN with the far back hairline, right?
That's Stephen A.
Yeah,
Smith.
that is Stephen A.
Yeah, and he's an HBCU graduate too,
Winston
right?
Salem.
Winston Salem.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, you could just look at him and tell that he's hurt. He's hurt from a long time
Nah,
ago.
you know what it is? He's not trying to mess up. He's another person not trying to mess up his bag. He was like, these
Yeah.
good folk here at ESPN treat me nice.
They've been good to me. These
They've been
folks
good to
have
me.
been good to me.
Yeah.
All right. Next beef. We gonna get right into it. Hip hop is everybody got in the car
Hmm.
and drove across the border, and they've been whooping Drake ass. They just jumped this boy
Yeah.
Oh.
out of nowhere. Like Kendrick set it up, and you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of somebody who you went to school with, who nobody liked, who we
Mhm.
all had to keep around for some reason at all. And then they slipped up, got comfortable, and gave us a reason and a
Mhm.
platform where we could really get at them. And everybody was like, I ain't like nigga
I like
anyway.
Drake anyway.
Yo, what is going on? I want to run this down so everybody's very clear. All right. So you started with Kendrick, and he dissed J. Cole and Drake. Cole politely bowed out. He moonwalked his way up out of there.
Hmm.
Then, before Drake could even respond, ASAP decided he wanted to jump in. And then Drake somehow kind of responds, and then Rick Ross jumps in. And then now you got.
He didn't quite jump. He kind of, waddled in. He
Oh,
didn't.
all right, so he waddles in, right? And then out of nowhere, Donja's son just comes in with his titanium mouth and starts spitting strays, right? Like he's in it. And then out of nowhere, see Breezy and Quavo start arguing over Sweetie. And so now, what is going on? But let's stick to the Drake thing. I've heard people say that this has a lot to do with him being a biracial / light skin. Any truth to that? Any belief? Like, what do you think is at the core of where this is coming from? Or are we just overblowing it and it's just hip hop and it's just competitive? I feel that's weird because he's the one target. So,
Yeah.
like, what is this?
Well, J. Cole is too.
Nah,
Right,
J.
He's
that's
a
what I'm
biracial
saying.
light skin.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, why? Like, so
Yeah, but J. Cole is more of like the Angela Davis biracial light
He
skin.
is.
And Drake is more of the I don't know if there's an example for Drake. But
Lover boy.
he's I don't know. I think it's to your point. Like I don't know what it is. He's been well, Drake is messy in general.
Yes,
yeah,
he is.
He's
yes,
very messy.
he is.
And regardless of the foolishness and the ignorance that goes on within hip hop amongst men and just like nigga shit, like even like you know how like even criminals got codes? Like at a certain point it's like, dude, enough. Like you mad, you over
Flagrant,
here you over
flagrant.
here taking dudes chicks, then crying over the chick, and then singing over a bit, and then it's just weird, bro. It's just weirdo stuff, man. It's weird.
Hillary, what is your reaction to seeing this violence? Because it's violent. It's violent out here.
I don't care. Like I feel like Drake is getting what he deserves at this point. Like CEO said, he's been messy the whole time. What was he expecting? And you already know how these Sophronias are. You know, like when we think
The
back on
what?
it,
Hold
a
on, hold on,
Sophronia.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I need to pause because I don't know if y'all caught what Miss Hillary just said. Miss Hillary said, which is wildly disrespectful and wildly culturally appropriate. Miss Hillary just said, y'all know how these Sophonias are.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who Sophonia is, you need to get up on your Nina Simone game and for women. You just need to get up on your Nina Simone game.
I mean, it happens across culture, right?
Wow.
We
Did
hear
you just call Drake Sophonia?
I did. He's conveniently black. And then when, he gets his feelings hurt or someone does something to him, now all of a sudden we see his, Karen and Bob. Okay. And I get it. You are torn between two worlds and I understand that, but you just go, you've used us a little too much to not pick one, baby. And
It's
I don't feel
quoting the
no,
lyrics.
I don't
It's
feel
quoting the lyrics from the Nina
no,
Simone song, which is
yeah,
for me.
I don't feel no ways tired about Drake. Okay.
Now let
Cause
me ask you this.
And
he
also
played the best.
on top of that, he's very corny. And like it's
He
easy to tap the corny
is.
dude. Like the dude showed text messages with
Yeah.
his mom, and you talking about plastic surgery with your mom, and then like who?
Well, let me ask you this.
Because it's different
Uh,
over there. It's different over there. None
Who's
of
from
us have
Toronto?
a white mother. It's
let me ask.
different.
Let me ask you this. because Drake came back with another disc for Kendrick, and he AI'd Snoop
Tupac.
and Tupac on the track. Now that he's been catching strays from everybody. Like, what does he have to do to regain his footing? Or is he just gonna have to hold
He
this
has
out?
to stop fighting. You know what happens? Like when you drowning, right? And they tell you to calm down,
Be
breathe,
still.
be still. But he's not. He's doing this, and he just keeps drowning. Like you can't do AI Tupac. Like you lost. You
There's nothing
lost.
lamer than that. Nothing lamer
You
than that.
lost.
And I admire J. Cole for understanding exactly what you said. He was like, I'm not doing this.
I'm
He's
like,
like, I'm not doing this. It's just too many ways I can die in this
right?
situation.
Cole was like,
And I'm not doing it.
I'm not
You
doing
know, I'm
this.
not gonna
I'm not
do it.
doing
I'm
this.
not this
I'm
lame.
not doing
I'm
this.
not this corny. And y'all can call me a simp if you want to, and you can say this is what hip hop is and all of that. He was like, but this is silly.
But
Look
I
at what
live.
I'm doing. I'm not
What
doing
did
it.
John Witherspoon say? The late great John Witherspoon. But I live
But
But
I
I
to
live.
live to fight
fight
another
another day.
day.
I live to fight another day.
Yeah, yeah. He was like, I'm not gonna do this.
I yo, I blame Cat Williams for all this shit.
He would love that. He would love to take the blame for it.
Because he just opened up the door and made niggas feel like, you know what? I'm airing shit out. And it's been getting aired out all year. And we damn near not even, we just got out the first quarter. Lord have mercy. Listen, we got one last conversation before we get out of here. Real quick, Hillary, you gotta answer some questions.
Yes.
Apparently, it is very dangerous to do online dating in Texas. There's a new study that shows that Texas is one of literally the most dangerous spaces for online dating between the scams, actual violence, people identity theft, and all
Mhm.
kinds of craziness. Y'all got going down there in the Lone Star State. What's going on?
Listen, I've been trying to tell y'all, it's crazy down in Texas. It's not funny either because I lost a friend to a similar in a similar situation. A classmate of mine last year, he was a driver, like a limo, a car service driver, and not exactly sure what he also was into, but it seemed like he like called somebody on Backpage or went to pick somebody up, and these girls robbed him and killed him. And they did find him for a couple of days, but it is Texas people. It's lawless. It's still the wild wild west down there. It's not. It's hard for me to describe, but honestly, people are just different. People are different. You got which with me, you got the best of the best. I'm just,
You
it's
know,
me, Beyonce, Erica Badu, and Meg Thee
We
Stallion. That's
thank
all
God for
y'all
you,
got.
Hillary. We thank God for you.
there's the
Tom Ford and Tom Ford.
there's the the now that I think did I marry the joint from Netflix, or not even Netflix, the joint from TikTok has gotten so popular. I think more people actually realize like the online thing is so dicey. Like just the many different ways it could go wrong. Like you was just joking about J. Cole. It's mad ways this could go wrong.
Yeah.
This online dating thing. You out here looking for a piece of ass for the night, and you end up literally screwing up your whole life. And that's
Dead.
yeah, like and identity theft or like getting financially scammed. You got out lucky. Like
Yeah.
you could die out here
Yeah.
in these online streets. It's crazy.
Well, look at what's the thing when you go buy stuff, like you get online and you can go pick up something, or like Facebook Marketplace or whatever. I wouldn't try to
Oh
use,
nah,
but what was the one before that
Craigslist.
everybody Craigslist? Yeah,
Craig,
how many people passed away from that? It's just the whole encountering strangers thing. And the other thing about Texans is they are all armed.
they.
I don't incriminate myself. I don't live in Texas.
Hey, yo, C, I'm gonna give you the last word. I know you got to go, and we about to get out of here. Any final thoughts on that, bro?
Um, this is more. I mean, I'm married, so I ain't gonna worry about. But this is more reason why I'm not going to Texas, like at all. Like y'all, just it's unnecessary to be like number one in that. Like, and that's you gonna be number
Well,
one
man,
in that.
not like high school football, but this.
But this,
That too. That
I'm good
too.
on Texas. And y'all got that whole private grid and y'all be losing electricity. Nah, B, I'm good. Thank you for the culture that you guys have offered us. Thank you for Bun B and Pimp C. Thank you for Scarface and the Ghetto Boys. Thank you for you, Hillary. But that shit is wild.
Yeah, shout out Governor Rollaway.
My Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels, Governor Hot Wheels. That shit is ignorant. And on that note, I want to thank Hillary and CEO for hanging out with me, as well as you, the listener. Make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribe to the Charles Coleman Podcast, your favorite podcast, to make sure that you get all of the black brilliance that we got for you, the entertainment and the education. That's what we do here at the Charles Coleman Podcast. And until next week, we will see you soon. And please, if you are dating online, stay safe.
Get the
All right,
strap.
y'all.
Man.
That's
Watch it, get this strap.
that's
Love you
Hillary
guys.
Younger.
Bye.
That's Hillary Younger, and he's DJ CEO, and I'm Charles Coleman, and we will see you next week. Peace.